Hey guys, this is my desktop review of the Smith & Wesson Bodyguard 38 Special. I got a few talking points, kind of like Nut and Fancy, but a lot briefer. I'll paste them in the description. So just to give you guys an idea what comes in the box, you get this Smith & Wesson case. It's a zippered case, has a nice spot to hold the gun, and then another little spot here, maybe a speed strip. This is the Bodyguard 38. We'll check it. It is unloaded. I've put about 100 rounds through it so far and don't really have any major complaints. I'll go over a few pros and cons that I've noticed in a minute. Comes with a standard lock, one spent casing, couple Allen wrenches for the Insight laser to adjust it and remove it to change the battery. Then your standard manual, and that's about it. So a little bit of background, and this is from Smith & Wesson's site. It's a stainless steel barrel, so 1.9 inches. It's a one-piece aluminum alloy upper frame. It has the ambidextrous cylinder release up here right at the top. It has a one-piece rubber grip, smooth trigger pull, stainless steel cylinder, PVD coated. I had to look up PVD because, to be honest, I didn't know what that meant. And it's physical vapor deposition, if anybody's curious. It's a process to produce a metal vapor that can be deposited on electrically conductive materials as a thin, highly adhered, pure metal or alloy coating. So, FYI. And then it also has the integrated Insight laser right here. So the first thing I was going to talk about, and again this will be a brief review, what's this gun for? And in my opinion, two things really. One, concealed and carry. It's extremely light, and it's a small frame. I don't believe it's a J frame, but I think they're very similar in size. You could have this on your person, and you wouldn't even know it was there after you carried it a few days. The other reason, home defense. I think it makes a suitable home defense firearm, my opinion. So I'll get to the pros, the things that I really like about this pistol. One, I already mentioned, it's extremely light. I don't have the actual weight on me, but I'm sure you guys can look it up. It's so comfortable to hold because it weighs nothing. It's compact, again good for concealed and carry. The price I think is reasonable considering it comes with a laser. I know it's this pistol's main competitor is the Ruger LCR, and the Ruger with the laser is at least $150 more than this. Around here this sells new for around $500, give or take. It's plus P rated. It has an extremely smooth trigger. Again, we're unloaded here. The trigger pull is extremely smooth. I don't have an LCR on hand to compare it to, but for me, this Smith & Wesson Bodyguard trigger is much smoother than the LCR. I will say that the LCR has a lighter trigger. It's a little bit easier to pull. So for me, I would rather have a trigger that's a little bit heavier but much smoother. I seem to shoot better with this. The other thing I like about this gun is the grip. It has a high grip, especially compared to the LCR. When you have your hand on here and you're at the range and you have a good grip on this and you're shooting, your hand is up high, so a lot of the recoil, for me there's very little muzzle flip. The muzzle barely comes up because the energy is coming straight back, and your hand and arm is right behind this barrel, and you just absorb it no problem, and you're ready for your next shot. With the LCR, what I found was just the way the grip was, your hand is a little bit lower, and it has, for me at least, more muzzle flip because the energy coming through the barrel is above where your hand can actually grip. So that's something that I appreciate about this model. Also, the Bodyguard handle it feels longer in my hand. Again, I wish I had an LCR to compare it to, but for me the LCR handle is a little bit shorter and a little bit wider, which you might think if you have a bigger hand that would be good because it is wider, but I actually prefer this one. I feel like I can really get a solid grip on this, whereas the LCR, I felt like I was almost holding it, you know, with one or two fingers, and that I could just, you know, it could fly out of my hand at any point in time. The other good thing about this, the laser, it's extremely easy to adjust. You have 2 Allen screws, one for vertical adjustment and one for horizontal adjustment, and I dialed this one in at the range. It took me maybe 10 minutes and it was on point. And the last pro that I had is like most revolvers, it's just extremely easy to use. There are no extra safeties. There's nothing complicated about it. You have your rounds in and you're ready to go. There is no external hammer. There is no safety to turn on or off. My favorite features about revolvers, they're ready to go. You need it and it's there. So those are the pros that I pointed out. Here are some cons that I noticed. One, it's not as fun to shoot this at the range as a lot of other guns. I've heard a lot of people that review this gun describe it as something that you carry a lot but you shoot very little, and I can definitely understand that, because comparing to other guns that I usually shoot, like the Springfield XD40, I could shoot one of those, you know, 4 or 5 hours and not get tired of doing it. It's just there's a lot of guns out there that are pleasurable to shoot. This one isn't bad, but I couldn't shoot it as long as a lot of other guns. I put about 100 rounds through it today, and it starts to irritate the webbing in your hand, just because the handle is so narrow. Like, it'll just keep pounding that part of your hand, and you'll get a little sore after a while. So that's one con. Another one, the cylinder release, and this has been acknowledged in other reviews. The cylinder release is plastic. It just feels very cheap. It's just not something you would expect from Smith & Wesson. It's just a plasticky piece up here. It doesn't move very far, and the mechanism doesn't feel that smooth. So that is definitely something I don't like. I really wish they would have made that out of metal and maybe made the mechanism just a little more solid, because it does feel cheap. My next con is the laser on-off button. And this, people have been complaining about this. If you're a right-handed shooter, you're gonna have to reach over the top of the gun to turn this on. Not only that, but the button is actually pretty small, so you really have to be on point in order to get this laser on. And then to turn it off, you can't just hit it once. You hit it again and it goes to the flashing, and then one more time and it's off. So are you going to use this in an emergency? If someone comes into your home, or if someone attacks you and you pull this gun out, are you going to, you know, have enough time and awareness to reach up here and make sure you hit that little button? I would say no. So I don't know how useful that laser would be in real life. But with that said, the Ruger LCR, which comes with the laser as well, has the button on the handle. It's a crimson laser, and I find that one hard to use also, so I don't think either of these guns have really narrowed that down. The other con is, I already mentioned the heavy trigger, which I'm okay with. And then the sights, I'm not a huge fan of these sights. If I can line them up for you. I find them hard to use. I did okay at the range with them, but I've had, you know, there's many guns that have better sights. I almost think some sight paint on the front ramp might help, so I might give that a shot. But as it stands, I'm not a big fan. And so those are my pros and cons of this gun. My other thought is what I was using at the range today is PMC bronze 38 special 132 full metal jacket. Very comfortable to shoot. I have not used any personal defense rounds in this, any plus P or anything like that. I've heard that they make shooting this gun not very fun, just as far as the kickback in your hand. And that definitely makes sense to me, because shooting these rounds have, after 100 rounds, started to make my hands sore. So that's it, guys. This is my first firearm review. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them. And thank you for watching.